Makes you think, doesn't it? Shams out here in the streets saying that we can see a Donovan Mitchell trade sooner than expected? Let me explain to you why. So Donovan Mitchell is on the second to last year. Chill? I'm tired of talking about these trades, and I'm not gonna get my hopes up again. You know why? Makes really good content, and I really want him, and I think the Heat may actually have a chance of getting him. As I was saying earlier, before I got so rudely interrupted, Donovan Mitchell is on this second to last year of his contract. Now, technically, it's his third to last year, but that last year he has a player option in which he will definitely opt out, because anytime a guy is that skilled and that young, they always opt out so they can re-sign for more years and more money. Now, Donovan Mitchell had a chance last offseason to sign a max extension with the Cavaliers, but as Shams reported in his recent article in The Athletic with Joe Verdon, the talks actually went nowhere. Now, the Cavaliers could still extend Donovan Mitchell this summer, so you may be wondering, why the hell would they trade him right now? Well, as it currently stands, the Cavaliers are 13-12, which is 9th in the Eastern Conference, and we got some really unfortunate news today, just an hour apart, that both Evan Mobley and Darius Garland.
Hey, it's me, Pat Riley, and I've woken up from my slumber because I realized you didn't like the video and subscribe yet. So make sure to do that for me so I can get some rest. Thank you.
Mobley and Darius Garland are going to miss some significant time. And it's very likely that missing these two key pieces to their starting lineup, that things aren't going to be very pretty for the Cavaliers over the next couple months. However, Cleveland is such an ugly city where nothing is pretty, so I'm sure that they're used to it. I feel like Charles Barkley roasting San Antonio women. Let me not go there. I've never been to Cleveland, and I don't want to deal with the fans in the comments, so I take it back. And first off, I do want to wish speedy recoveries to both Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. You just hate to see guys get injured. And I will say, it's entirely possible that the Cavs are able to stay afloat with guys like Dean Wade and my guy Max Strus. But what happens if they don't? Right now, the Cavs are only a handful of games ahead of the Raptors, Hawks, and Chicago Bulls. If those teams were to jump the Cavs, that would leave them in 12th place out of the play-in tournament with only a couple months left in what would likely be a wasted season. Now, this puts the Cavs in a tough spot because, yeah, they can go into this offseason, hope that he signs an extension. He likely won't, and then he'll have to return next season where the Cavs will pray that everything goes well and they can convince him to stay. If things go bad next year as well, then he is definitely leaving, and now you're looking to trade a guy on the last year of his contract with only a half a season left on that contract, and that greatly diminishes his value. A lot of teams are much less likely to trade for a guy if he only has half a year left on his contract because they don't know if he's going to walk. It's a much bigger risk. Whereas if they were to trade for him this year, you'd have a whole year and a half with him in your system in the hopes of convincing him to stay. We see all the time teams waiting way too long to trade a guy, and all that happens is his value gets less over time. I think Kyrie Irving is a good example. He was on the last year of his contract when the Nets traded him to Dallas in the middle of the season, and that entire package only included one first-round pick. Of course, there's a lot of differences between Donovan Mitchell and Kyrie Irving, like the off-the-court stuff and the age, but I still think that we can all agree Kyrie Irving is worth more than one first-round pick. It's just Dallas didn't want to take the risk if they weren't going to be able to resign him. I think if the Cavs made Donovan Mitchell available to trade right now, there may be some other suitors willing to go after him that you wouldn't get next season. And a lot of times it's these smaller markets that are scared they can't retain a guy. Maybe the Sacramento Kings would make a run for Donovan Mitchell this year. Maybe they think that him, along with De'Aaron Fox, is enough to put them into contention this season. Maybe it's the Oklahoma City Thunder, who we know are very, very good right now, and they think that Donovan Mitchell can put them over the top. Or maybe it's a bigger market, like the Golden State Warriors. They got an aging Steph Curry. Their team is not so great right now. They certainly don't want to have another wasted season, so maybe they finally cash in on their picks and some of their young guys to go ahead and bring in Donovan Mitchell and try to win a chip this season. Especially since last time we know that Donovan Mitchell had a lot of interest in joining either the Knicks or the Heat. It might scare off a lot of other teams if he was to go into the trade market next season. Now, if Mitchell was available now, that obviously does make it more complicated for the Heat to get him because you would have a lot more potential suitors. So what is the best possible package that the Heat could offer? And I think it looks something like this. I want to start by talking about what I call the inevitable trade with the Thunder, where essentially the Heat are able to unlock an extra first-round pick by getting back our 2025 pick, sending them a first-round pick in return, and then incentivizing them by also giving up a second-round pick. So now Miami would have 3 tradable first-round picks, which can be sent over to the Cavaliers, in addition to Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and I'm sorry, Heat fans, Jaquez Jr. I think 3 first-round picks is great value for Donovan Mitchell, especially when the Cavaliers are also getting a win-now type player in Duncan Robinson, a win-now/future player in Tyler Hero, and then I guess you could say another win-now/future player in Jaquez because he is playing so well right now and the potential looks through the roof for him. Now, I do think the fit with Tyler Hero and Darius Garland is a little bit weird, and that's kind of the same problem we ran into when we were talking about sending him to Portland because he doesn't really fit with those guys either. But I do think any Donovan Mitchell trade starts and ends with Tyler Hero, whether he ends up on Cleveland or a third team. But Jaquez, though, he would fit perfect on nearly any team in the league, especially the Cavaliers, because he is such a versatile player and he can actually score and defend at the 3 position, which is not something that they've had since LeBron. Who knows? Of course, the Miami Heat would be receiving Donovan Mitchell along with Georges Niang, who I think is a very solid 4, even though he was getting into it earlier this year with someone on the Heat. I forget who, but he is close friends with Duncan Robinson. I heard him on his podcast. He seems like a nice enough guy, and obviously he's kind of your stereotypical stretch 4 that could defend a little bit, and that's something that the Heat have been looking for forever. And in this case, Ty Jerome and Damian Jones are kind of just being thrown in to make the rest of the money work. And if you're a Heat fan that's about to comment, no, I don't like this trade, I can't get rid of Jaquez, throw in Nikola Jovic instead, or better yet, don't throw in either one of them. The one thing that I have to tell you is that you have to give to get. For Donovan Mitchell, the Heat are going to be competing with a ton of teams, and you got teams like we said, the Thunder earlier, who we know got 1 million first-round picks. The New York Knicks, which was Mitchell's other preferred destination, I think they have 7 tradable first-round picks. So if Miami wants any realistic shot of landing Spider, they are going to have to give up a monster haul. And while yes, I'll be very sad losing Tyler and Duncan and Jaime, to be honest, I'm not even sure if this package is enough to still land Spider. But I do think this is the most realistic package that may be able to work, and also that the Heat may actually be willing to part with. But then again, who knows, because the Heat haven't made a trade where they acquired a player since like Jay Crowder and Iguodala 4 years ago. So after all that, do I actually believe that Donovan Mitchell will get traded this season? And the answer is no. I mean, this whole video was filled with a ton of hypotheticals, which while they're certainly possible, you just kind of need a lot of things to go Miami's way for this to actually happen. And although Evan Mobley and Darius Garland are very good players, I could see Donovan Mitchell going like balls to the wall for the next 2 months, and maybe the Cavs actually make up some ground in the standings. But even if they fall to the bottom of the standings, I still don't see any way that they actually trade Mitchell this season. When you have a guy as good as him, you want to give it every last chance it has before you actually let go of him. But that's really all I gotta say for this video. Let me know down in the comments below the most that you would give up for Donovan Mitchell, and who you think says no in my hypothetical trade, if anybody. And of course, please make sure to like and subscribe because it helps me out a lot. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.